Hello, this is Beverly with the Intuitive Interior. It is time for the October 2023 forecast, the I Ching forecast. Now, this particular Yang Water Dog Energy Month begins on October the 8th and it goes through November the 7th. So that's, keep that in mind. However, some folks may already be feeling this transition to this energy of a lot more emotion and this also increased focus around loyalty and justice, finding out who you can trust, who deserves your trust, and well, maybe you've misplaced some of that loyalty. And it might come at you kind of like a fire hose. Sometimes those revelations happen like that. So again, with each month, because we've got the Yang water and the dog energy together, those combine within the I Ching to make up a hexagram. And that hexagram is made up here of this bottom line here is Kun. That one is yin earth. This top one is Dui. That one is yin metal. Together, they form the hexagram that corresponds with card number 45. It's the gathering together card. The basic words on this are massing, converging, unifying, assembling, combining forces, and the sum is greater than the parts. Why this really fits this month is that it's, again, like I said, there's this convergence, all this heavy water, this Yang water. It is associated with high emotions. It's about taking action, really, going towards a goal. It also, however, needs structure. And when you have structure, especially within a big group, then that can really make a huge difference. I mean, come on, let's look at the Grand Canyon. That's a whole bunch of Yang water energy that just had made a big splash, or at least a big hole of the ground. But I digress. Anyway, the dog energy, again, we talked about loyalty. We talk about how that dog energy is, it likes to have a job. It wants that focus. So you have this focus coming not only from the dog energy with, again, that angle of justice and loyalty and do you respect me? Are we, I'm going to love you forever and wag my tail and this will be great, but don't mistreat me or I will turn on you, kind of a thing. So you've got that with this Yang water energy. It could mean for a rather intense month. In this, my book, my little fancy book here, I want to just read you this paragraph because it just sums things up perfectly. It says, social groups of any kind are like living cells in that they are formed around a nucleus or a common denominator that links the individual parts. On the world of technology, the phenomenon of the internet joins the lives of thousands who share common objectives or interests, creating a global community. On a more intimate scale, it might be an individual, an ideology, a practice, or a project that brings people together and strengthens the sense of community. In the ideal circumstances, harmoniousness is not restricted or duty-bound. Rather, it is refreshment for the body, mind, and spirit. Now, there are times when the group that we belong to may no longer be serving the needs that we joined them for, or we may realize that those pieces of our loyalty are no longer in alignment with those groups. So it's when the key to this month is choosing to see the truth. Are there aspects where hidden motives or selfish agendas are derailing the original cause? Is that someplace that, do you want to keep, putting your energy into that. It may be that you need to take leadership roles. So kind of keep that whole thing in mind. I encourage you to go online and look at card number 45. There are many good websites that you can take a look at to get a little bit additional flavor of what this next month is about. Now, I drew 3 other cards for kind of like the first third, the second third, and the third third of the month. I know some people ask, well, why aren't you doing 4 cards? Well, I've already got the 4th card right here for the overall thing. There comes a point in time where there's just too many cards. But this first one is called Abysmal. This one comes up before. It's not always the most fun card because, again, remember how I talked about the yang water element. Lots of water here. So we've got a double water sign. This is the Kan trigram. When you put that together, it comes up with card number 29. The words on this card are danger, insecurity, overwhelm, unpredictability, hazardous conditions, dark emotions, facing fear, and courage. When you combine that with the focus line, which again, the focus line, the bottom 3 are the ones that are more internally oriented. The top 3 are the more externally oriented. And this one was focus line 1. This is actually a really positive thing in that it says it's possible that this particular encounter with danger might be a washout before it has even begun. Take a look to see if you have ignored any signs leading up to the present situation that might have alerted you to what was coming. Sometimes the mind, when it has strong investments in its own desires, prefers numbness to being alert. And if you find that this is the case, it is not too late to take a distance and watch what is happening as a result, learning from what you can. This is a good warning, a good suggestion to pay attention to those internal cues. If you start to think about, maybe going to work and next thing you know, you've got this awful pit in your stomach, perhaps that's a sign that it's time to dust off the resume or to have that difficult conversation with the person at work that's causing some challenges. Or if you are in a partnership, ask yourself, have I been completely honest with what I want out of this relationship? Or have I been going on muscle memory? And that's not necessarily fair to anybody. So all of that, again, requires you to go down deep, which again is related to the whole water element. Go in internally, check things out. So the second card is card number 44, the attraction of opposites. Now, this one on the bottom is yin wood. On top is, this is sun. This is qian, yang metal. This card is seduction, temptation, magnetism, a passionate encounter, meeting halfway, coupling, and sexual union. I mean, hubba hubba. So after doing all that introspection, remember we talked about that loyalty and the dog and how that partnership aspect may very well be up. This is focus line 3. This, whenever the line 3 comes up, that's usually the cue for, okay, you've done a lot of the internal work around it. You've done the introspection. Now it's time to take action. It says, however, I say take action. This focus line 3, at least in this book, says you've become preoccupied and the direction you're attracted to is prompting hesitation and uncertainty. The situation is uncomfortable, but if you press forward, you are choosing to resist the natural support of Tao. It is best to become clear within your own mind before making any moves. This is your sign to say, yes, okay, I really want to make this move, but why? I really want to make more money. What are you going to use the money for? I really want a different, a different way of relating to my partner or to my children. Okay. What is it that how do you want that to show up? And what are you willing to do to change your behavior in order for that change to manifest? That's really what this is talking about. It's about becoming a little, watch that you're not too invested, too attached to a particular outcome, because it's the attachment that will trip us up. Okay, the last card. Oh, wait, before I finish that, I do want to kind of continue reading this other little piece here. It's that I really like. Again, there's all this talk in that card about, hooking up, essentially, it sounds like to me. But here's a different perspective. It says spiritual traditions acknowledge in a variety of ways the central importance of learning to unite wisdom and passion, the head and the heart. The sacred art of Tibetan Buddhism, for example, depicts the literal coupling of deities, representing the perfectly balanced ecstatic union of two equally powerful energies. This image can serve as a reminder of the power of conscious consummation. Now, this doesn't mean that everybody's supposed to go out and get jiggy with, whoever's out there. This is also talking about really uniting and balancing our divine masculine and divine feminine. We have that need or that not need necessarily, but that union going on inside of us at all times, balancing that external motion, taking action piece, and the internal action and motion, which is making, identifying what our internal needs are. Okay, wanted to just throw that out there because that's what I do. The last one, okay, this was so fun because this is the Joyous, and this is another one of the doubles cards. So this one has the double of Dui and Dui, yin metal over yin metal. So yin metal is, well, it's symbolized by jewelry, by shiny things, by, gold, silver. It can be like tools that have to be refined. So think about like a scalpel is also considered yin metal because it had to be refined and molded essentially in order for it to become its perfect useful self. But this one, I love this because it's called the Joyous, and I've got my joy water, so hey, ta-da, joy water, great for clearing any energy out of your space that you would prefer not be there. Joy water. Okay. The Joyous terms are happiness, delight, interaction, open communication, goodwill, friendly persuasion, and self-expression. Because we are going into the dog month, and dogs often are, referred to as, human's best friend. There's that delightful playfulness that often accompanies having that wonderful pet. So I love that this came up, especially after that first card, the Abysmal, which is a little heavy. This one is line 4. So we're talking about the beginnings of that externalized expression. So this, here's the focus line 4 reading. It says, your indecisiveness regarding where to find happiness and fulfillment has caused you to look outward when you should be looking in. Ask yourself what creates peace and helps sustain you through the shifting climates of change. Whatever it is, do not settle for less. Once clarity is restored to your thinking, joyousness returns to your heart. So again, we've got that admonition to go inside, see what's lighting you up, and then do more of that. And pay attention to, as you are looking out there for whatever your next step is, to not settle. Something that sometimes that shows up in a way of settling. Sometimes you do have to go and just get a job. I'm just going to throw that, I need something to pay the bills. That doesn't necessarily mean that internally you can say, I'm only worth this. Sometimes there's the practical aspect of things that, okay, I'm really hungry. Right now, all I can afford is a McDonald's or a Whataburger or In-N-Out, depending on what part of the country you're in. But you know that you are worthy of more. That's okay to settle at that moment for this so that you have you can have the energy and able to take that next step, because you know there's going to be a next step. It's you're not stopping there. I hope that makes sense, because it's finding that inner joy that radiates. And so no matter what situation you're in, that inner joy that comes out of just being alive, of noticing the cool things. Maybe it's just a cool rock on the ground when you're walking to the bus stop. That joy of finding that rock, it can permeate everything else, and it makes the rest of the world seem just a little bit brighter. So my wish for all of you for this October is to kind of do the recap again, that that there's going to be gatherings. Make sure that the groups that you're gathering with are fulfilling your soul. There's going to be change. Know that you have it deep within you, that you will be able to handle the changes, and you'll be able to notice when danger is kind of coming your way, so you can just kind of pivot, step out of the way. That this attraction of opposites is about making sure that you are balancing your own internal way of addressing your masculine and feminine aspects, and find joy, find the play, even if it's just taking a look at the clouds and appreciate the shapes that you see. Something as small as that can really lift up your spirits and help shake out whatever else is going on. So I hope that this is a positive for you and helpful. If you would like to, please share, subscribe, hit the like button, if you will, leave a comment. I'd love that. And hopefully we will find out some cool stuff that happened for everybody at the beginning of next month. Talk to you soon.